Nebraska, 58. Number 13, Michigan State, 56. And I don't know where Kaleb Henry went, but I don't really care right at the moment. There he is. And welcome to the Nebrasketball Hour after it freaking happened. It happened, and Nebraska pulls it off despite the effort of the officials, despite the efforts of Michigan State, which were mixed, despite the efforts of Tom Izzo. And we are now in a world that I'm almost scared to think ahead to the next minute of my life right now. I'm afraid when I think ahead to the next minute of my life, it is going to make my head explode. Because Nebraska is now likely a top 10 team. Nebraska continues the longest winning streak in the nation. Nebraska knocks off another team that will be a quad one win. And I don't know what this world is like. You should be scared of what I will be like. I am scared of what I will be like. But here we are. And it's a Friday night. It's 10:41. We're in front of the weekend. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching tonight, however you party, I don't know how you party, whatever you do, it's time to do it.
Oh, and that's not even fair.
I will be sorry, Kaleb is still he's gonna have to save his for a little bit later. But here we go.
That's just rude.
I just drove back from the game as fast as I could to get back here because I was so excited to talk to all of you about what just happened. We're gonna get into that, but let me say one thing before we delve into it. I just sat at that game, and the students are not in session right now. So I went to that game with my son. My son's 21 years old. We had our first ever beer before a Nebraska basketball game because he turned 21 and I'm not going to cry. He turned 21, 10 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
And so since I made End Zone too popular, we went to JJ Hooligans, which, by the way, is going to be the new place to go. So come see me there for the next game. And we had a beer before the game. Hung out with Mike Schaefer, who now has a show on the I-80 Club, unemployed, starting on Monday. And we sat and watched that game together. And when that free throw bounced off, like, he hugged me. And he had tears in his eyes. And I understand to 99% of the world that is going to sound corny and goofy. But to most of you who are in here who have been through this fandom, who have had your family connected to it, who have gone to games, whether it's just for a few years or whether it's for a lot of years, I think you'll understand it. So I'm not ashamed at all. And so this is a memory, like, whether it's sad, whether it's not, this was a memory tonight. I was with my dad at No Sit Sunday in 2014. He passed away a year later. And this kind of, I don't know, it kind of felt like that in some ways tonight for us. And I never dreamed, Kaleb. I didn't, I thought maybe they'd get to the NCAA tournament, right? I thought they'd maybe get a win at some point. I didn't ever effing think that they're going to be a top 10 team, man. It's so dumb, but like, I know there are so many of you out there who are listening right now who get it. I can't believe it, man. Can't freaking believe it.
Jack, do you know how many people I saw? Obviously, there were folks that were around you, but people I saw on social media, people that I was seeing around here, it was a family event, standing from start to finish, only sitting down for timeouts. And even then, not every timeout. But I think there's so much relatability in. I saw Johnny, by the way, walking out of here. Like
he was on TV too. Yeah, he left me as emotional as he was after he ran for the court, and then I just went to my car. So I haven't talked to him since. But,
no, he was still fired up, and he was telling me he's like he has no words. But like for you, there are people that are living this same thing where it was with their family, and for you with your dad on No Sit Sunday. I know how special that memory is for you, and now to have this memory with your son. But think about like for you, and I'm not trying to make you cry. Like I promise not.
No.
But for you,
I already did.
The number of memories you have with your dad around those same formative years that Johnny's going through right now, that you got, especially with Nebraska football, you shared a home video of you from the 90s. You know, like you going through the highs and the lows of a wonderful time to be a Husker fan for football. But obviously you've been a basketball fan too. And now over the last decade, a little over a decade, you got to have that memory with your dad, thankfully before he passed. You got to have this memory with your son. And I guarantee there is 1, 2 dozens, hundreds of those same stories for Husker fans that have felt like you've gone through it. And then you get a game like tonight that feels like here's some of the part from the game where it's like it feels like there's not a home whistle for Nebraska basketball. And you go through and you have moments and you have Price Sanford in foul trouble. And he has to go sit for a long time. Then he comes back in the second half in foul trouble. Okay, he's sitting. They get him back. 5th foul, go to the free throw line, and you got a ball don't lie moment. Even with whatever the anti-home official crowd you could ever have, like you got the ball don't lie moment, you get the win, and you come out of there and you get to exhale and go, you got a wire-to-wire perfect freaking crowd. Like just so loud. I wasn't there for No Sit Sunday. I know a lot of people are comparing that to this. I can't do that. I'm sure like you can, but just the magnitude of the moment to where you get to stay undefeated. You get to go become a top 10 team. And you got to share so much of that with families coming to this game. Absolutely packed place. Like this place was insane. The standing room only was 3, 4, 5 rows deep over here on this side of the arena. It was bonkers from start to finish, Jack.
Yeah. No, it was I mean, the beginning of the game, I could not believe what that atmosphere was like. It was as good as I've seen at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And then, Rank Mass couldn't miss at the beginning. And so that was completely crazy. So let me gather myself since I started off, at level 100. I know we have, holy jeez, we got 335 people watching right now, Kaleb. So this is
because this team is important. That's why, because this program is important. People have gone through it with this program. You saw moments over the last several years. You saw it with getting to the tournament with the Tim Miles group, and then you saw kind of the incremental steps so far with Fred, and you had the tournament a couple years ago, and then things kind of go off the rails last year. But the crown, and then building into the offseason, and the team that was built through the transfer portal and coming back this year. And that's why guys like Price Sanford are so important. Like their time on the court is so important that he played 5 minutes in the first half or 6 minutes in the first half. And you still the team as a whole fought through it and stayed in it. And there's so much relatability from this fan base for that, of just sticking through it and fighting through it. And then you get to the end of the game, and how many times have we gotten there and there's not been that payoff? I know there's been the top 10 wins here in this building. I've watched them, Wisconsin, Purdue, but it's so many times you're looking to get over that hump and you just want that little payoff. That's what 14-0 is right now, Jack. This is that little payoff. And then you go, okay, keep building from here. What's next? What can you still get to this season?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me do a little business here. First of all, I got a super chat up For those of you who are new, we do this show most post games, we will throughout the year. It is the Nebrasketball Hour, brought to you by Nebraska Realty Wahoo office. You want to hook up with the Nebraska Realty Wahoo office if you're trying to sell a house, trying to buy a house, ag land, auctions, estates, any of that. We'll tell you more about them here in just a second. For those of you who are new here, we do our interaction with the people who are our members on our Discord. And if you want to ever be a member, you can do that, patreon.com/I80 Club, but it's free to watch. But we do have super chats coming in too, and we will do those for those of you who aren't members. So I've had Kenny's up for a while. He didn't even say anything, but thank you, Kenny. We appreciate that. Let's see. And then we had Mike says, don't be ashamed. Enjoy these moments with Johnny. Yeah, I'm not like I'm not ashamed because I know there are a bunch of people out there who understand what I'm talking about here right now. So thank you, Mike, for that. Stibbs, shout out Mike Stibbs. Who needs date Mike Matt Rule? Fred it fly. I'm not totally sure I totally know what that is. And then let's see. I want to get Jason's up, but I can't find it. Let's see, Jason. I want to get yours up. I'm trying to find it. There it is. And Jason said, this is just the beginning, Jack. Love this community. Yeah, we do love our community, the I-80 Club. And if you want a community of Husker fans that's in a non-toxic environment, that love Husker football, love a whole lot of other things, meet some people, have some fun, check out patreon.com/the I-80 Club. So thank you, Jason, for that. And real quick, want to thank our brand new Kaleb title sponsors, which is Nebraska Realty Wahoo office. You're pointing with the wrong hand, I think, right now.
No, it's on mine. It's right.
Nah, it's not on mine. You're pointing to the Nebraska basketball guy.
On mine, it's okay. I'll do this and point to the Nebraska basketball guy.
But I'll tell you what. Kurt Malley, Tim Shanahan, Dan Sanderson. That's the Wahoo office for Nebraska Realty. And I'm telling you, it doesn't need to be in Wahoo. If you're in Lincoln, Omaha, anywhere in Nebraska, sell a house, buy a house, looking at ag land. You've got on this team, Kurt. By the way, I'll just tell you, he's full masked guy, right?
Yeah.
He's a guy from the Oklahoma game. And he's great at what he does. You got Tim. He's an all-timer at Hastings College, by the way. Member of the Hastings College Basketball Hall of Fame, Hastings College Hall of Fame. 1,580 points all time. You got Dan Sanderson, who is one of the best, maybe the best auctioneer in the state of Nebraska. Yeah. So they know Nebraska. They'll do a market analysis for free. They're Nebraska guys for years. Like, these guys combined have about 100 years of experience, which is crazy, but it's true. All three of them are in the top 10 for Nebraska Realty. So I don't care if you're in Wahoo or if you're in the entire state of Nebraska. If you are looking for some great realtors, if you're looking for an estate sale, if you're looking at ag land to sell or buy, contact these guys, 402-443-3415. So make sure and get that. And contact Nebraska Realty. They do a great job. All right.
Well, Kaleb. Jack, if you want to talk about people who know basketball and know Nebraska, it's those guys at the Wahoo office. Like Wahoo knows basketball.
Oh yeah, I've been texting with Kurt, by the way, full mask guy here. I probably have more texts from him right now, and he still didn't save me a seat at the end zone. It's impossible to get in the end zone anymore. So it's JJ Hooligans for me now. Okay, Kaleb. Now, I did the emotional part. I did sort of the fan part. I did all of that. Tell me about that game from your perspective, from the X's and O's.
Well, like we said, with Price Sanford getting the foul trouble, that changes up a little bit of what you want to do offensively. And you got more Cale Jacobson in there, and he was just struggling to find the bottom of the hoop. He was finally able to get one free throw to go down, but he had a number of open shots that you were hoping he could have gotten. Michigan State was really physical inside with get the rebounding going, especially the offensive rebounding. Think about that for especially late game, where it was like just get a Nebraska rebound, just get a defensive rebound, and you can get out of this game, and like it won't feel as stressful. And Michigan State just kept grabbing rebounds. I was thankful as someone wanting obviously Nebraska to have success that Michigan State did not go full pedal to the metal in their offensive sets all day, because when they did, when it was snappy ball movement, when you got a guy into a crease and then kick it out and they just pass it around, they were getting easy shots. Like they had a number of easy shots that they took. They also took some tough ones that they made. But I was thankful for from Nebraska's standpoint that Michigan State didn't do that. Nebraska on offense, though, like you have to feel so good that you can get rink mass just going on a heater, especially with Sanford on the bench. Frager gave really good minutes. Here's the part, though, Jack. Like the X's and the O's, it felt like you got to a point in the second and a half where Nebraska was ready to just take over the game, poised to run away with it. You're down by one. You get a Price Sanford 3. You get Kale making a free throw, and then you get another Sanford 3, and you get Frager's 3. You're up by 9. You're up by 9. But I
forgot they got up by 9. Wow.
He neither team led by 10. That was the biggest lead of the game, was that those 9 points. Then you get the technical foul. I disagreed with your Twitter post, by the way. I do not want to give them any free throws.
Well, okay. Let me ask this. I didn't see it happen. Was it a ticky-tack technical or not?
He yelled in his face. Like you see it. For me, whatever. Who cares?
I had someone. I had a lot of people. I had some other people texting me, and they were mad at him. But like, there's a part of me. I think Nebraska needs that guy. I think Nebraska needs that guy, to be honest. Like,
yes,
and honestly, it's worth 2 points. And he hit the 3 right after it.
Yeah. He comes back and he hits the 3 a little bit later too. But that stretch there, Jack, you get the technical foul, and that starts a stretch of 6 straight free throws as part of a 12-3 run. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, so I don't have to try to move papers around, but a 12-3 run, and all of a sudden you're tied. Like, you're tied. But here's the part, Jack. They tied the game, and Michigan State did not make a single basket the rest of the way. Like 4 minutes or 4+ minutes, whatever it is. I don't even have the tab pulled up.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. I'm looking at, all right, I'm pulling it up right now. The play-by-play here in the second half. So after
with 4:41 to play.
So 16 or 15, what? 15-11. There you go. So Carson Cooper made a layup at 15:22 gone. And then Kohler made a layup at 16:04. And that was it, huh? It was only
you're reading it the wrong way. You're reading it the wrong way. 16:04 was early.
I'm going backwards. Sorry.
Yeah, Fears got a jumper with 4:41 to go.
Yeah, I got it now. Fears. Okay.
And that put them up by 3. Okay, so yeah, excuse me. They tied it, and then they ended up going up by 3 with 4:41 to go. And then Michigan State, after going up by 3, did not make a shot the rest of the game.
You're right. Fears made that jumper, and that was it. And Frager missed a layup right after that. Yes. And that looked like people were going to go crazy. Hoiberg got fouled then. After that,
Hoiberg went bully ball to get in there and draw that foul.
Yep. He got that foul. And then, the rank mass 3. Oh my gosh. Rank massed Kaleb. What the hell can you even say?
He plays great on Peacock. That dude loves him some NBC.
The first half, so Sanford goes out, and you're like, well, they got, way fewer offensive options. And then I don't know how many threes he made in the first half. Was it 4?
5 of 9.
5 of 9.
So he was in the first half. He was 5 for 10 from the floor, 5 of 9 from 3.
Insane. And they were. I was like, "Are you ever going to get out on him?" Like, it was crazy. And eventually, I was like, "Well, they'll get out on him, but it's going to be open inside." I mean, and then that three though, that was, I mean, I felt like that when he made that three with 154 left, I was like, oh my God. So that put him up, it was tied, and that finally got him ahead again. And like I felt like, oh my gosh, it might happen. And Cooper misses the second free throw after the foul on Mast.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, some of those calls down the line.
It was here. Here's where it is, Jack. I thought from up here, because what I don't want to do is be like, ugh, the officiating sucked. Like there were obviously calls that were like, are you sure? To me, it was the officiating was trying to anticipate fouls. And when you're doing that, especially for players like Michigan State's guards who are going really fast, and when they start to get off kilter a little bit, like they're off balance themselves, whether or not there's contact. So you already have somebody off balance and you have an anticipatory whistle. That's where you get some of them, like even Price's fifth foul there. It was like, gosh, what you guys are trying to anticipate a foul happening instead of. Here's the thing that I like about basketball. Like when I was officiating basketball, is that someone might go, "Oh, your whistle's a second late." Okay, well, I would rather wait a second and make sure it was a foul than try to anticipate the contact. That's the part that I think the officials weren't doing tonight. And you also had like fouls getting reversed because you had Frager right after his technical, you thought drew an offensive foul, and then they go to the monitor and reverse it and call it on Frager.
I could not believe.
So can
you even do that?
I guess you can. Like I wasn't for sure that you could, but I guess you can. But when you add like those types of things together and they snowball in little places here and there, and you have, because part of that 6 free throw run was the Frager foul, the Frager technical, and then you had a different one where the guard was kind of falling away. I think the foul was maybe on Kale. But it was like at least one judgment call on the technical. Sure, you call that. But the other ones, I was like, you reversed a foul and then you tried to anticipate contact. And so that's the part where it can feel like you're absolutely not getting any sort of home whistle for a crowd like this.
It was great. It felt like, yeah. It feels like you get calls at home, but it felt like Michigan State got the calls like they were at home throughout the night. But whatever, doesn't matter now. By the way, shout out Jason. I want to get his super chat in. Jack, passing the fandom down to our kids is what keeps this athletic department alive, no matter the sport. My 4-year-old son was screaming "Go Big Red" all night, even if he doesn't know why yet. Shout out Jason. That's awesome.
One more super chat. Go back and get Josh Jabs.
Yeah, I know there was Jabs too.
So I have his pulled up here.
Do you have? Let me.
Yeah. So because what he
shout
said,
out Jabs. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss that.
Yeah. Jabs said to read his note in the Discord. I have it pulled up. He said no random Nebrasketball player for the super chat, as he tends to do. Tonight is dedicated to Jack, Kaleb, and all of Nebrasketball Nation. We've endured hell for generations. Enjoying this with all of y'all has made it so worth it. Love everyone. GBMFR for life.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It feels like sometimes the universe pays you back. They owe you a whole lot, and they owe you a whole lot over a whole lot of years, and then they make one lump sum payment to you, and it feels like that's what we're getting right now with this year. So I'm going to enjoy every part of it. If it falls apart later this year, so be it. I mean, I hope it doesn't. I don't think it will, but in all honesty, like the fact that, I'm going to savor the hell out of the next few days. I'm going to savor the hell out of watching that poll come out on Monday.
From a standpoint, like a fan standpoint, or even someone who just enjoys basketball, even if, let's say you're not a fan of Nebraska, which, hey, thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us on the Nebrasketball Hour. But like, this is a good story. Like for sports, this is a good story for college basketball. This is a good story for the Big Ten Conference. Because think about the number of times where you're like, Nebraska has a good thing going, but you put on the tinfoil hat and you go, but the Big Ten doesn't want them to succeed. It's not good for the Big Ten. This is good for the Big Ten.
Oh, God.
You had a top 15
Dude.
matchup. You had an electric atmosphere. You were able to put on one of your newer partners on Peacock. Like, I bet their numbers were insane. I bet, Jack, for your full-time job, radio affiliates had a hell of a night with all of the numbers. We're having a lot of fun with all the people that show up for this. This is a great story for the Big Ten Conference, college basketball as a whole, but especially here in Lincoln and Nebraska, with the amount of attention and amount of fun that this team is providing for everybody, but also like the moments we opened the show talking about. Like this should be something that you savor for multiple days in a row. And then you get to the next game and go, can you get another one?
Paul says on a super chat, thank you, Paul, for the super chat, a big one. He says, as a 41-year-old, he says, the best sports moment ever. Thank you for covering. Yeah, I mean, here's the crazy thing, and it goes with my son, too, who's 21. But his best memories are as a Husker fan who was brought up that way, who I brought up that way intentionally. It's all been Husker basketball for him. And and he was too young to even appreciate No Sit Sunday. He was too young to appreciate that 2014 team. He was 10 years old. And so, and now he's a student. And so this, unless you're a volleyball fan, this is kind of the moment for a generation to some degree. And we've had a few of those. 2 years ago when they beat Purdue and Wisconsin over the course of that couple of week period. And Pinnacle Bank Arena continues to deliver. And I was listening to Fred after the game as I was driving home, talking to Kent and Jeff. And Fred said, Kent was asking him about the crowd, and he was like, well, it was good. He was like, but to be honest, like it was this full versus New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
It was this full versus North Dakota. And he was like, it was a little amped up, but he was like, he's like, that's not really, he was almost like downplaying it in a way that was complimenting, which he's right. I was at that North Dakota game. I wasn't at New Hampshire. I was at North Dakota. I looked at that crowd at tip-off, and I was like, I've never seen a bye game look like this.
New Hampshire, the 300 level was full, like before the game.
And this fan base has a level of uniqueness to it, and I don't even know how to define it exactly. And I don't know if they're all like me. I don't know what it is exactly, but there's a level of dedication. There's a level of hope that is there. There's a level of, despite all of the crap I've given this fan base for leaving the games early over the years, but like there is something that shows up in a bizarre way for a team that has given them not a ton over the years, but just enough to keep them coming back. And it's like so far this season, it's finally freaking paying off. It's bizarre. Let's look
real quick, Jack, on that note. I've talked about this before, in that it's no secret Nebraska fans show up. Maybe not for bye games like that in the past, where you're like, oh, it's a little spotted up there in the 300s, but like Nebraska fans show up. You see it with football, whether you say it's a real streak or a fake streak, but like volleyball obviously has all of that success, and you see them show up out there. Baseball, softball, but it goes to a different level when you're having success. Like when you're having success and you're one of the sports that maybe isn't sold out all of the time, like softball or baseball or men's and women's basketball. As soon as you start to go, this is unparalleled success. Big things are happening. Think about the end of the men's basketball season 2 years ago, how wild that was, and you were building up to an NCAA tournament. That's what this crowd is tonight. That's what it was the last couple of weeks. That's what it's been since you started to get 5, 6, 7 wins. Okay, how real does this start to feel? Oh, there goes Creighton. There goes Wisconsin. There goes Illinois. And I think that's the biggest thing in this is you have to convince the Husker fans that it's real, but they're going to buy in. And as soon as that feels like there's that buy-in, then you start to go, okay, now let's convince everyone else that this feels real because this feels legitimate. It doesn't feel like, okay, you look at Nebraska's non-conference strength of schedule and go, okay, well, they won a bunch of games against teams they shouldn't have. Well, now you look at Nebraska, what they've done in the conference, Wisconsin, at Illinois, and at home with top 10 Michigan State. This is legitimate. This is real. You do have to start paying attention to not just our NCAA confidence meter, will Nebraska get in the tournament? You get to start looking at what potential seed line is Nebraska on? What are the teams that Nebraska needs to make sure they don't overlook, like Monday? Like, don't overlook Ohio State because you got this win and you're on the road in Columbus. Like, those are the things you get to start talking about.
Yeah, I don't even we haven't even taken them, and I want to do this. I want to talk about at the end of the show. I want to talk about just the world we live in now. Let's save that for the end because there's still a part of me that is scared of that because I'm afraid I'm going to I so almost don't believe it's real. It's hard to talk. I almost don't want to talk about it. Let's delve in real quick. Kaleb, I know we talked about the end of the game and a few sort of general things about the game. I mean, I'll just say this, and I want to get into the box score, but I would just say this, just like the defense, and I will say this every time I do this show. If you're coming for an X's and O's guys, it is X's and O's guy. It's not me. Kaleb is much closer to that than I am. But Kaleb, I will tell you what, man. The way they played defense tonight, throughout the entirety of that game, other than leaving Kohler open too much for threes. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it was just, they got nothing inside. They couldn't do anything inside. This is a big athletic team, Kaleb. I don't know. I'm really excited to look at the stats and see what it looked like at the end. But
10 points in the paint.
And Nebraska's defense turned them over. I mean, the defense flummoxed the hell out of them. I don't know. How many turnovers did they have?
19. And that's the most. Hell. So that's the most turnovers Michigan State has had in a game since playing Nebraska in 2022, when they had 18. Yeah. And here's the thing: there are some of the turnovers where it's a big guy gets a ball inside or near the paint, and Sam Hoiberg just goes and rips it away. like he's so good on the ball, but there are times where, hey, if you're a big, get those elbows out and keep the ball above your shoulders, because if you bring it down to 5'4" Sam Hoiberg, he will get his mitts on it. All right. So there's those parts of it. The thing I was most impressed about with Nebraska's defense, and maybe some of this had to do with the environment, were the mental turnovers.
You mean
for Michigan State,
not knowing where the out of bounds line is?
Yes.
I had some sweet trash talk about that. By the
way, knowing where the out of bounds line was.
I was like, hey guys, the white line is the boundary.
And it wasn't one time. Happened.
I got in their head. I think I might have got in their head a little myself.
You had those. You had egregious travels with nobody around them. Out away from the basket.
Some of which they called, yes.
You had kicking the ball out of bounds yourself. You had the rebound coming down and guys running into each other and then letting it just roll out of bounds on the baseline. Yes, Nebraska did a fair job of forcing turnovers, but there were a lot of just mental turnovers that Michigan State did. And here's the point that I'm making in this. Those turnovers, when you are out of bounds or you travel or you kick the ball, whatever it is, those are dead ball turnovers. And that's why you didn't see the large points off of turnovers for Nebraska, because they were coming down and having to be in a half-court set. They weren't live ball where you can get out and run. I know Frager missed a layup on one of those. But that makes it tougher to get that points off turnovers number up, despite seeing almost 20 turnovers for Michigan State.
Yeah. Alex says on the Discord chat, the timeout into the turnover with 140 left was amazing. Yeah, he just dribbled it off his leg, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. I was like, okay, good. You kicked it out.
And then Rank hit the 3 on the ensuing possession, right? Is that right?
Yep. You also had a late one where he was coming down this right side, and Jamarcus, I think they called it out on him. Then they went to review, and they reversed it and gave
it was
Nebraska
not even
the ball.
close.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was so bad.
It was not even
Good
close.
Lord. So many calls tonight, but I'm not, that doesn't matter now, but it was, there were a lot tonight. Let's look at the box score real quick for Nebraska. Rink Mass led in minutes and led in obviously total points, 19 for Rank. He goes, good Lord, he goes 6 for 13 from 3. He only shot 2 non-threes, Kaleb.
And he missed them both.
So they were like, hey, we're gonna take away inside from him.
Well, they really pressured him inside, and the 2 shots he got inside were okay. They weren't ones that you see him get really confident about.
His only field goals were 3-pointers. That's it. And then Price had 13 in a paltry 21 minutes. Like, that's a crazy thing. Like, what if Price doesn't get in foul trouble in that game?
Yeah, well, and his plus minus, he ends up +9.
Yeah, I mean, like they got Kale in. Kale ended up getting 16 pretty good minutes. But like it felt like Nebraska was playing offensively with one arm behind their back through most of the first. Were you surprised that Fred kept him out the entirety of the first half, other than the last possession?
No, I wasn't, because the game was tight. If the game would have started to like snowball and tilt really into Sparty's favor, you could have seen him saying, hey, we need the spark. You need to get out there. We need this out. You didn't see that happen, especially because you had Rink Mass going on his heater, getting 5 first half threes, and you're tied at the break. So that's why I was not surprised that you didn't see Price out there until that last offensive possession, and then they subbed him out, obviously, with just a couple of seconds left after Frager went and did a flip over the chairs trying to save it. And then when Price was in foul trouble in the second half, I wasn't surprised to see them hold him until there was 5 minutes left in the game. Like it was just as long as
I was like, geez.
Yeah, as long as you're in it, Fred was content to keep Price on the bench as long as possible to conserve him for the late game. And it worked. Ultimately, you got him in a lot of really good situations.
Berke had no points. In fact, they didn't play him. He didn't play much in the second half. 5 rebounds. Price, like I said, had 13, 3 for 8 from 3. 5 for 13 field goals. And so Jamarcus was big when Price was out, Kaleb, in the first half. I thought Jamarcus had he only had 1 3, but he had some big buckets in that first half.
Yeah, he did. His passing has been a little wild for my taste the last couple of games, especially some passes, low passes going to like Rink, where it's like, what is he supposed to do with that at his ankles? But overall, yeah, like you needed good minutes from Jamarcus with Price out of the game, and you got that. One quick note on Berke and Rink: they combined for 5 block shots, Jack. Like
Berke had a couple of big blocks.
Yeah, they had 5 block shots tonight.
Yeah, huge. And Michigan State had their block shots too. But they only had 4 as a team. Nebraska outblocked Michigan State in that game. Wow. Sam had 4 points, 0 for 2 from 3. Did have 5 assists, 4 rebounds, only 1 steal for Sam, but getting his hand on the ball as he always does during the course of the game. And then off the bench, Frager played 30 minutes. So he played fourth most minutes on the game, and then 3 for 5 from 3 for Frager.
And every one of Frager's threes felt ginormous.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, no, they kind of put him in there in that first half, and they're like, well, if we don't have Price, we're going to need someone else who can be an offensive force outside of Rank, and so they brought him in, and he ended up putting up it was only 9 points, right? And it was all those threes, but he did have 5 rebounds, 3 assists, some of the big rebounds in this game too, right? Rank masked, like in terms of rebounds, Nebraska got out rebounded 45-31 in that game, Caleb.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. Yeah.
That Cooper kid, that 15, he had 13 freaking rebounds. Kohler had 11. Like, Kohler is the scary guy on that team, but Carr did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
2 points. 2 points for him in that game. Holy cow. He did have 6 rebounds, but Nebraska really shut him down. And in terms of points, like Fears had 14, but he was 0 for 4 from 3 during the course of the game.
By the way, Fears Jr. is such a funny name. Like Fear, because it implies that like Blue's Clues is a murder mystery. like it's Fears, but like let's bring it down a little bit. It's not that scary.
Yeah. Jared Garcia got 8 minutes, didn't do a lot, got a rebound, not much else. So, and Kale 16 minutes and got a rebound, missed 3 free throws, did make 1.
Oh God.
Man, yeah, he had a couple of chances there to really get Nebraska in a good spot, but he couldn't hit his free throws during that. But nonetheless, doesn't matter now. Nebraska wins.
Yes.
58-56. Kaleb, let's talk about like the implications, the more macro implications of this. I assume Nebraska will be a top 10 team when the AP poll comes out on Monday. They have a game on Monday night, but is that your expectation too?
I just want to. I'm curious where the team is going to be emotionally. We saw what it was in the week of Creighton, Wisconsin, Illinois, where you feel really good rivalry win, you blow out Wisconsin, then you go and win at Illinois. I'm curious where the team is now. Can you go replicate that again? Ohio State's not Illinois, like we know that, or we're pretty sure of that. Like by the time the end of the season rolls around. I'm just going to be really curious to see what do the next 3 days look like mentally and emotionally for the team when they come out on Monday.
Yeah, at Ohio State. And if you take a look at Ohio State right now, they beat Rutgers tonight at Rutgers 80-73. They lost to North Carolina by 1 point on December 20th. They lost at home to Illinois by 8, who Nebraska beat on the road. I'm sorry. They beat Northwestern by 6 or 4 on the road, lost to Pitt. I mean, Nebraska's going to be favored. Nebraska, they're going to be favored on the road against Ohio State and Thornton.
Yeah, they'll be favored.
Aren't they? They're going to be favored, I assume.
Yeah.
Like look at the schedule now. So they've got at Ohio State, and then they're at Indiana. At Indiana. Indiana, they just lost to Louisville by 9. They lost to Kentucky by 12. Kentucky, the team Michigan State beat by 80. This Michigan State. So, like, let me just say this. I was looking at Michigan State's like schedule coming into this game, and I was like, oh crap, they have been really good this year. They beat the hell out of North Carolina. They beat the hell out of Kentucky. They beat North Carolina. They beat Arkansas. I was like, oh man, this Michigan State is really, really good. So we'll see. So in any case, all right. Hey, you got to run, Kaleb. I know. Yeah. So we're going to wrap this whole thing up. So appreciate it, Kaleb. Thank you very much. I'll let you go. I'll wrap this thing up. All right.
Awesome. All right. See you guys.
All right. There you go. That's it for Kaleb Henry. And I will say good night to everyone. Really appreciate all of you joining us tonight for the Nebrasketball Hour, brought to you by Nebraska Realty, Wahoo Office. Hey, make sure and call Kurt. He is full mask guy. Numbers up there. I can point like Kaleb could not. Hey, we'll be back after Ohio State on Monday. I don't even know what I'll do if Nebraska beats Ohio State on the road. Because it'll probably be a top 10 team. And we'll see. And then Nebraska against Indiana is coming up just as you look ahead with the schedule. Nebraska, Indiana will be coming up after that on Saturday. So it'll be 2 games next week before the new poll comes out at Ohio State. 5:30 on Monday. We will be on about 8 o'clock or so, 8:15 or so with after Nebrasketball or the Nebrasketball Hour. And then Indiana on Saturday. That's an 11 a.m. game. So we'll be on at about 1:30, 1:45 after that. Thank you so much for joining us. Big thanks to the Nebraska Realty Wahoo office for sponsoring us. I think they had a good result tonight. Thank you so much. We got over 400 people joining us throughout the show tonight. That is awesome. And so make sure and like and subscribe to the YouTube page if you haven't yet, so you know when we're going live after the other shows. If you're interested in being a part of the chat in future shows, go to patreon.com/I80club, and you can be a part of the community. You can be a part of the chat during the course of the games. Guys, I am going to go celebrate a little bit more. I will see you on Twitter. Enough of the bourbon. I'm going to save that for Ohio State if they win. So we went to the Bud Select now after that. Have a great night, everybody, and let's go party. Go Big Red. Nebraska basketball is a top 10 team. Can you believe it? Good night, everybody.